Hail them.
Hailing frequencies open, sir.
Hailing frequencies. Open.
I don't know why I keep giving alien street food a chance. It's always such a gamble.
Captain, we're being hailed.
On screen.
Hello and welcome to another Hailing Frequencies Open podcast where we continue to trek through the past and future of Star Trek. As always, I'm your host, Mike Jones. Today we're focusing on the future. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our panel. He's taking a break from deworming his cats. It's my co-host, Damien.
Thanks, Mike Jones. I'm super excited about tonight. We have the best panel. Really excited. We're playing Debate Club again.
So really they can just watch this, the powers that be, and know like who should take over that. Like that's the point. This is an instructional video that we're going to submit to Paramount, Warner, HBO, whoever owns us now.
Yes. For those of you who do not know, Alex Kurtzman, who has been the head of Star Trek since the beginning of Discovery in 2017, his contract is up. And he, in reality, this is true. His contract is up this year. And so our debate club topic tonight is who should replace him. Yeah. He may replace himself. He may be renewed,
which may be renewed. Who knows?
God bless. Good for Alex. But that's not our game tonight. So,
right. It's a what if. It's a what if comic. So we're starting to wonder if making our bossiest friend the judge of this competition was a mistake. But here she is, the Right Honorable Supreme Q Lanita.
It was absolutely the right decision. It was the only decision that could be made. I'm so excited to judge each and every one of you.
Yes. Well, and we're all sort of like a little bit excited to kind of like step out of our regular roles and try something a little different tonight. So
and have some fun.
Judging us might be Lanita's regular role is the thing.
Correct. Now I just get like licensed to do it.
Yes. Those who can't do judge really is yes.
Those who can't wed plan. Correct.
All right. She's our resident hair and wig expert and co-host of the new YouTube show Observation Lounge 2. It's our friend and yours, Anna Rozay.
Hello. I'm here to tear it up, baby.
Welcome. So glad you could join us.
I'm gonna nerd out like no other tonight.
Well, you know, we've learned that you have some strong opinions on these things, and in thinking like who is both knowledgeable and opinionated, you were top of the list. So
correct.
Thank you. I use my big brain a lot. Sometimes.
Nice. All right. And we had the best time having our next guest on the pod not long ago, so we had to have her back ASAP. She's the co-host of a serious and well-respected podcast called The Clone Star Pod. Why the heck does she want to hang out with us? I don't know. It's Jodi Pickens.
I think I'm really the most least serious person you might possibly know, but, you know, whatever. I'll pretend I could be serious on a very serious podcast.
No, we learned very quickly having you on last night that you have an amazing sense of humor and also know your Star Trek.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm old, so that helps. Being a dinosaur really gets you some time in on the Trek hours.
Well, and it's funny because the last time we had you on, we knew we were like trying to like schedule you to come back, and I was like, well, here's like what we have in the pipeline, and I sort of named a few, but secretly hoped that this is the one that you would join us for. So I'm really glad that you did.
That is
happy
correct.
to be here. Happy to be here always. I got to get a shirt.
Yes, I know. Yes,
that will happen.
Yes, and so does Anna Rozay. We will take care of the housekeeping at the end. I noticed that right away. So
yes. So we might need to order more. And rounding out tonight's group, we needed somebody formidable to match Judge Lanita. He's taking a break from his regular gig teaching history at Rikers Island, so he's the perfect person to call. We agreed to call him by his porn name only tonight. Here he is, our friend Austin P. Smith.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. I'm going to do my best to keep you on track because I do have an early bedtime.
Same. And you may see me visibly. If you start to see me sort of like lean, that means that it's about 8:30 and I'm sundowning. So
I mean, I said early. I didn't say 8:30.
Grandpa needs his nap.
He needs his nap.
Grandpa in.
Oh no.
I've been joking about my early onset dementia all day, and then I was like making mistakes at work and being like, you know, that's not a funny joke. I'm just gonna too soon.
Too soon. Oh no.
Too soon.
Well, Austin, thank you for being here. You are the Roz on our night court, our bailiff this evening.
I'm happy to serve.
Yay. I'm hoping everyone got that night court reference and I'm not just like an old man who watched television in the 80s. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, I am also an old man who watched television in the 80s and also
It
one
came
of the
on
most
Nick at Night. Yes.
No, I watched Night Court on regular TV. And who do we know that was one of the most prominent recurring guest stars on Night Court?
Wasn't it
Brent Spiner.
Brent Spiner.
Okay, so this was fiction? What?
Yes, it was a situation comedy.
Yes, it was a
Well,
sitcom.
it's okay. I'm not sure, you know.
And actually, I feel like
this
it
is
came.
maybe
There was
Judge
like a
Judy.
reboot of it. No,
There was a reboot. Yeah.
Does a bailiff arrest themselves when they're out of order? Like, is that a arrestable offense? Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
I would urge you also, if you're not sort of familiar with this reference, to Google Encounter at Farpoint at Bailiff. This is a real character from Star Trek. That's
Encounter at Farpoint, which is where I am today. I'm in the courtroom behind me, full of extras from Central Casting.
Yes.
Are you gonna elevate? Are you gonna like levitate, Mike Jones, like
on a crane?
Pull a Q.
We see Lanita raise up those plants go down behind her.
That would be awesome.
I'd be out of frame. I can't do that. But yes,
Just be her ankles.
Working the ankles.
You get to see my Slytherin socks.
Oh my God. All right. Let's jump in.
I feel like it's that time. I feel like Mike and I are going to step out of our host chairs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm ready to call us all to order. Friends, founders, and Ferengi. All rise for the Right Honorable Supreme Q, Lanita Ward-Jones.
Do, 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 do.
Theme music.
Yes, theme music. Be seated. Thank you, Bailiff. I appreciate that. Welcome to our 21st century courtroom. We are here to adjudicate a succession matter related to the Star Trek franchise. Alex Kurtzman has been the head of all televised Star Trek since the appearance of Star Trek Discovery in 2017. His contract with Paramount is due to expire this current year, 2026. Boo. We are here to determine his replacement. We have 4 highly qualified candidates from Star Trek Creative World, and we have 4 advocates, each advocating in earnest for their chosen candidate. We will proceed as follows. Each advocate has up to 5 minutes to present their candidate and make their case. Bailiff will call time when their time is up, at which point each of the other 3 advocates will have the opportunity to question the presenter for up to 2 minutes. I will then question the advocate without a time limit because I am who? The judge. We will then proceed through the remaining 3 advocates in the same manner. Then a brief free-form debate will follow, after which I will declare my verdict, which will be final and binding. Here are the rules. 1, no personal attacks against your opponents. Let's keep things fun and cordial, maybe a little spicy. 2, these candidates are Star Trek icons. Let's keep respect for them. These are all individuals we hope to welcome to this podcast one day. Fingers crossed. all body parts crossed. So no trash talking other candidates. Anna Rozay, looking at you. Lastly, foul language will not be tolerated in other courtrooms. It's perfectly fine here. We'll just bleep it for the socials. Bailiff, introduce our advocates.
Absolutely, Your Honor. So first up will be, let's see. We've got, please welcome the co-host of the Clone Star podcast, Jodi Pickens.
I see how it is.
Well, before we get into it, just let us know, who are you going to be representing today?
I am representing Kirsten Beyer.
All right. We'll come right back around. We're going to do introductions, and then we'll go through and give you your 5 minutes. So the second person in our lineup will be the subservient co-host of the Hailing Frequencies Open podcast, Damien. And Damien, who will you be representing today?
I will be representing Terry Matalas.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you're going to wait your turn. Because
Yes,
next I'd like to introduce...
Subservient.
Well, you know, sometimes. The co-host of the YouTube show Observation Lounge 2, that's Miss Anna Rozay. Anna Rozay, who are you going to be representing today?
I am going to be representing the duo of Tawny Newsome and Mike McMahan.
The duo.
Your Honor, objection.
I'll allow it. They come as a pair. They cannot be separated.
There was no rules about it.
Understood. And that means that our final participant tonight is going to be the tyrannical host of the Hailing Frequencies Open podcast, the Mike Jones. Mike Jones, who are you representing today?
He's
Right.
gone.
Right. that's drama. No, but that's drama.
He's upset about being called.
We are getting Mike
tyrannical.
Jones's husband on the pod ASAP to yell at him about this internet connection.
Oh,
I thought that was on purpose.
That was
Mike Jones left the courtroom.
It is technical difficulties.
I was
Yeah,
going to
I'm
say.
like Admiral Vance, like, you know, I
Hopping
flicker
in and out.
now and then. Just to remind you, I'm not really here.
Well, Mike Jones, we are all waiting to find out, who will you be representing today?
I am representing Jonathan Frakes.
Understood. Well, now that we've discussed the order, Your Honor, are we ready to proceed?
I've been ready. Let's go.
All right. In that case, Jodi, as our first advocate, you have 5 minutes to make your case.
No
Go ahead.
pressure.
None
Well,
at all.
None at all. So I'm representing Kirsten Beyer, who is probably well known in the Trek world as an author and a writer of episodes, but she also feels like someone who could protect the soul of Trek while still letting it evolve. And she is one of the, I think, strongest internal cases to lead Trek, because she already combines her exact skills the job requires. She's got franchise knowledge, long-form storytelling. She's done cross-series writing, and she's done producer-level leadership. And the beauty of that is, from a long-form storytelling standpoint, she was involved in the writing of the most recent wave of Voyager novels that really kind of revived the novel world of storytelling for the Voyager series. But then she has been integral in kind of this new era of Trek with Discovery, and she was a co-creator on Star Trek Picard, and she has had her hands in Strange New Worlds, and also obviously with the latest in Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy, or whatever.
Cadet school.
Right. A little extra schooling never hurt anyone. And I mean, I can also make a case that Kirsten would make a great partner with Tawny Newsome, should we not like that Tawny, pairing that might come up later. But I think that she's just not simply a novelist or someone who later wrote a few scripts. She's already been trusted with development and continuity and creative leadership across multiple flagship Trek productions. Her resume is broad across the modern franchise. And the thing is, I've talked to her twice. We're not friends, but if she wants to be friends, I'm open. we'll be friends. We'll have coffee. Why not? But I think what I've heard most about Kirsten Beyer and what I've learned from talking with her is she has an encyclopedic knowledge of Trek and understands it to a point that not just as a storyteller, but as someone who can protect the canon of Trek. And I think that's something that fans have been, are always eager to see, that, canon is tried and true, and that we still continue to develop new. And I think Kirsten's proving that with her work through novelizations. She's done comic book writing, script writing, and co-producing, executive producing these shows. And I think it really leans itself towards leading Star Trek as a franchise into that next kind of level of evolution, because we need someone who can speak to the franchise as a whole, from the novelizations, the comics, big screen, the small screen, all of it. And we really need that type of mentality leading the way. I think the best argument for her is not that she's not the only possible choice, obviously. I mean, if Kurtzman's going to get the gig again, I'm not going to complain, but Kirsten offers, she's one of the few people I think that can mix the creator, the writer, the teleplay contributor, producer, novelist, and be like that continuity steward that we really need across the platform. And I guess in my closing statement, would just probably have to say that Kirsten is one of the few people who can talk legacy, launch a new mission, and still keep the timeline from breaking. So vote Kirsten.
Very well said. Now, before you go on, you have about a minute left. If there's anything else that you want to say, and if not, we can move right into the questioning.
No, I feel good. I think I'll take questions.
All right.
I can also sell my minute to somebody else. We're doing a raffle.
There is no extended time.
Your minute,
There's no extended time. 5 minutes is what you get.
Got it.
Well, Your Honor, with your permission, we can start out that 2-minute questioning period.
Proceed.
All right. Advocates, you have 2 minutes to ask questions. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll go.
I think I'm going to take my 2 minutes first. Am I first, I believe?
Oh, you all get 2 minutes?
We each get 2 minutes.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I'm never going to bed. Oh, my goodness.
You'll be fine, Cherub. You'll be fine.
Oh,
actually, I will choose to. Anna Rozay, you go first.
You talked about how Kirsten has been heavily utilized in the novel arena and things like that. We know she co-wrote the DS9 episode with Tawny. And if I'm not mistaken, she also had a part in creating the Con audio drama.
Yeah, she was a co-author with David Mack on the Con audio drama, and she was a producer.
Okay, so she already is well-versed. So I guess my question is, what kind of show would you think Kirsten could bring to the table? Like, what would be the vibe? Do you think she would bring something lighthearted, slice of life kind of vibes, like a TNG? Or would she bring us, something a lot more akin to either Academy or Discovery? Where do you think, if she had free reign to create a new show, what she would produce?
I think that's, in my opinion, is the beauty of what Kirsten can do, is that she was a writer on the Strange New Worlds episode, Wedding Bell Blues. You remember that one with the fun old Q or new Q or whatever Q that was. But I mean, that was a fun episode and had a lot of comedy and lightness to it. But then she's also the person who co-authored the audio drama No Man's Land, and it's about Seven and Rafi, which in the Safi world we call that the Safi Bible, because
No Man's Land,
right?
Now that there's no better title,
right? But I got to tell Kirsten that that's what it's referred to in the fandom, and she thought it was hysterical because she looks at it as just a soap opera in her mind, right? Yeah. But the beauty of it is I think she takes care of characters in a way that like Una McCormack writes her novels. She's very character driven. Kirsten does that, but at the same time, she can handle the action or the drama or the lightness, and she can integrate all of that. So I think the kind of shows we'd get are the kind of shows exactly we'd want. If we want something more like Lower Decks, yes. Prodigy, sure. I think she can bring that to the table. And I think because that background she has in being so well versed in the Trek lore, I think she could build her own legacy moving forward.
And that's your time.
Mike Jones, any questions?
Only one. What is your favorite Kirsten Beyer novel?
You're going to call me out on that because I'm terrible remembering titles and names. So, but it was the first Voyager novel. I'm going to look it up. It was the first Voyager novel she came out with, because what it did was it bridged the gap where, as I said on the podcast I was on with you folks the last time, I have a problem with Endgame for many reasons, one of them being Chakotay. But I also have to, that's a whole other show. But she kind of used that novel to give us the ending we never really got with Endgame. Like we got to see them beyond just, oh, we made it, show's over kind of thing. So I really enjoy that piece. And a very close second would be No Man's Land, because that audio drama was just, queer women are very underrepresented in the Trek universe. And I don't think she has a problem representing queer people or diversity or any of that in Trek, because she gets that that's what Trek is about.
Got it.
I hope
Full Circle, I think, is the novel, right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Someone says it, I'll remember, but dinosaur.
I yield my time.
Amazing. Damizon?
This is harder than I thought, because I also love Kirsten Beyer. But it seems like a lot of the things that she tends to work on, and if you look at her credits, involve things that are bridging the existing known canon with future stories. Like she wrote Unification 3 for Discovery, which is where we learn about Ni'Var and how that, so I guess my question is, she never, I guess it would be about comedy. Have we seen that she can bring us anything that is comedic? What has she done that's been lighter?
I'll refer to that Wedding Bell Blues episode from Strange New Worlds, where that was a lighthearted episode, and we expect that from Strange New Worlds, like as an episodic show. I think we get drama, action, something light, repeat, and great. I love it. But seeing that from Kirsten, who also was able to meld that with some of that canon and lore and make it new, make it fresh, but we still had the fun, we still had the lightness. Now, has there been a level of comedy like Mike McMahan has delivered us, or from any of that? No, I don't know that we've seen a full creation like that from her. But like I said, she's been involved with she did comic book writing, so there is that side, I think, that she at least understands, has a working knowledge of that side of Trek, because we do like an occasional musical episode and some fun, so gotta have
I see that she also wrote Stardust City Rag, which is one of the more controversial episodes of Star Trek Picard, where we and my time is up. I can see it already.
Your time is up. Silence. Please, Your Honor, go ahead.
I'm going to reserve my questions for the end. I'm going to take all of this in. I've got my notes. I've recorded down questions from our other advocates. So I am going to ask you to call the next advocate.
Absolutely, Your Honor. The next advocate is, of course, Damien. Go ahead and remind us who you'll be speaking about.
Yes, I'll be advocating for Terry Matalas, who is the known as the head writer showrunner of season 3 of Star Trek Picard. He also was he was on one of the showrunners for season 2 of Picard, but we have learned that his contribution to that lesser loved season was minimal because he sort of skipped out to work on season 3. So I would like to sort of strike season 2 from the record in my case if I can.
You can't.
But he was
Continue.
I liked season 2.
But he, yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it as much. All right, anyway. But he also is the creator of the 12 Monkeys series, which is the TV series, the 12 Monkeys, which was a fairly well-respected outing for his first show that he was a creator. He was the intern on Star Trek Voyager, where he became friends with Jerry Ryan early on. But my case for why he should be the showrunner, I think that I can explain this in 3 characters. 3 known characters that we love. Because we're looking for someone who can bring Star Trek into a new era, while at the same time respecting what the fans need and want. The first character I'm going to say is Dr. Beverly Crusher. On this podcast, we recently watched Star Trek Nemesis, and we did not love it. Before that, we watched Star Trek Insurrection. We liked, but we did not necessarily find that Beverly had much to do. Before that was Star Trek First Contact. She was barely in that movie. And so what did Terry do? He recognized a character a loved character that had been wronged in the later years of the franchise, and he aimed to fix that. And he said he met with Gates McFadden. He said, "Tell me about your character. You've lived with this character for 30 years. None of the other writers on Star Trek have done that prior to this date, have actually sat down with these characters and said, or these actors and said, what do you think?" And so what did he do? He centered the entire action of the story around this character who had been wronged. What was it that we needed from this cast? Really, was to highlight the seven central characters of Next Generation, and that's what he did, and brought her into a new, unexpected role. Second character that I'm going to look at, Captain Liam Shaw, new character entirely. Our counterparts on the sort of broier, less idic-oriented Star Trek fan worlds might say there's not enough basic white guys in prominent roles. He's our basic white guy. And what did they do? They brought us a basic white guy who was a mess. He's an anti-hero. He's rude. He's mean. He's weirdly lovable. And like a character that we've never seen before. And also with a dead name story around 7 of 9 that showed character growth. An unlikable character becomes likable, changes, evolves over the course of it. Third character, 7 of 9. 7 of 9 takes a beloved character, not one who was slighted. None of us would say that 7 of 9 was truly slighted on Voyager. Evolved her into the future, made her into something new, made her our captain. The thing that we didn't even know that we wanted. He made her our captain and did not shy away from, granted it was not central, a queer storyline around that character. So I would say these are, just in short, are very quick examples of how he was able to bridge the gap between nostalgia and the need to move things forward. Because I think that as Star Trek going forward, we need to recognize, you need to appeal to the things that the fans love. They need to see something familiar. Not necessarily the same cast, not necessarily, but something, some spark of familiarity that we recognize as the Star Trek that we love, while at the same time taking us into the future, giving us something like character conflict that we've never seen like that from our Next Generation cast, while still staying true to the heart of their relationships and their love for one another. And with that, I yield my time.
That's good, because your time was about to yield it for you.
I heard it coming, and I appreciate your nonverbal cues reminding me, because I felt like I had about 7 more minutes.
Well, and don't worry, because I will get verbal if I need to.
Oh,
Very good.
I don't doubt it, Sir Bailiff.
Excuse me, your time is over. And we're gonna start our questioning with Miss Jodi Pickens.
Oh, good. So my first question is, you brought up Todd Stashwick, who played Liam Shaw. If Matalas becomes the face of the franchise and moving the show forward, how many episodes or shows or series will we see Terry put Todd Stashwick in? Will he be in every single one? Will there be a complete series that's nothing but characters played by Todd Stashwick? Because he was in 12 Monkeys, he brought him over to Trek, and now he's over at Marvel, where Terry's the showrunner for the new series. So, I mean, is the future Stashwick? If
I see what you're alluding to, Jodi, and I hear your criticism, and I think that I listen. Terry has been known for having a stable of actors that he loves working with and returning to the well to recast these characters. Listen, we have seen this with Jeffrey. Oh God, why is his name escaping me in the heat of the moment? Oh no, and I only have 1 minute left. Jeffrey
Combs.
Thank you. Yes, there's Star Trek has never been afraid of recasting the same actor in many roles. And if we're stuck with Todd Stashwick as the next Jeffrey Combs, I'm not super mad about that. But I do hear your criticism, and I feel as though I would trust him to open up his casting brain to bring in new talent as well. But yes, I feel like he's a guy who will find a way to get his friends jobs. And you know what? I feel the same. When I have my show, I'm going to have you all on it.
All right, I'm going to write that down.
Right.
Yeah, you have it recorded.
Legally binding.
I'll give you the clip.
Good.
Okay, we're gonna go. Don't worry, time is over. The 3 seconds, wherever it's over, it's okay. Anna Rozay, anything for Damien?
So, as you pointed out, and I was going to point it out anyway, Terry Matalas' style of making Trek is heavily reliant on nostalgia. Do you think he can comfortably do you think he can actually deliver on a product that does not heavily rely on old models, old ships, old actors, old concepts? Can he bring something to the table that is new? And a second question, can he end things well? Because there is much debate on how season 3 ended.
Yes. I do feel that yes, that this was sort of the whole point of season 3 was nostalgia. The entire was to go back to a wrong that was done in fandom and to to give them the ending that we wanted and that we felt that we needed. But I do believe that if you look at the characters that populated the rest of his world, if you look at our bridge crew, I think that we saw him. We saw his, even though she was Geordi LaForge's daughter, Sydney LaForge was an excellent character. And if you the bridge crew on that Titan, later the Enterprise, I felt like each one of those, even though in modern Trek, I feel like the bridge crew itself has like moved into the background. I felt like this bridge crew had their own story. I felt like they had their own world going. So yes, it is easy to say that this whole season was all nostalgia, but the way that he populated the world with new and diverse and interesting characters, I think shed some light on what he would do if he was given that freedom.
And that's your time. We have 2 minutes remaining. Would you like to do the honors, Your Honor?
Mike Jones.
I'll do the same question that I asked the last advocate. Which of Terry Matalas's scripts or episodes is your favorite?
Well, now I have to go back and see which ones that he actually wrote, but I feel like but of that season, I feel like The opening to season 3 was, I feel like, one of my favorites. That is the sort of getting the gang together kind of vibe that I very much appreciated. And I also liked the episode. It's the episode called 17 Seconds, where that he gave us some real, I mean, and my adult self in New Trek is weirdly always coming back to Riker, that we got this sort of like real pathos moment with Riker of like getting to learn like how his tragedy sort of informed who he became, and that he still has that sort of Will Riker twinkle in his eye, but can sort of go deeper and actually like poke at all of these real issues that were brought up in Next Generation, and like actually open doors that are alluded to, and really sort of dig in and explore some of these story issues.
Great. I yield my time.
So I'm going to recant on something I said. You need to remind the judge of what 17 Seconds was about. You already know that you can't just say episode names and expect me to know what you're talking about. So I'm going to need more.
17 Seconds is, I believe, the episode where where Jack Crusher first sort of comes onto the Titan, and sort of all of the kind of shit goes down. I believe that is the episode where Picard and Crusher have their sort of like go at it moment about the meat of their relationship, and their all of the sort of unspoken tension between them all of these years. They sort of the subtext becomes the meat of the drama in that episode. It's about, I think it's episode 3 or 4 of season 3 of Picard.
I know that you're all fighting against each other, but is he correct from the other advocates here? Is there anything? Okay, I'm just...
Your Honor, I'm checking the logs. This seems to be correct information.
Thank you. Thank you very much, bailiff.
Yes, season 3, episode 3, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Since that is over, up next, we have Anna Rozay.
All right. I will be advocating for the duo of Tawny Newsome and Mike McMahan, because I believe with their track record of creating and starring in one of the most popular Trek series of this modern era, it's a no-brainer. Mike McMahan created a series that brought a lightheartedness back to Trek in an era that we saw a lot of live-action Trek shows covered in a dark filter and intense and gloomy storylines that dragged on for forever. Tawny, being the lead of the show, also carried Lower Decks and helped illustrate that comedy can and does work in Star Trek. Lower Decks was a love letter to Trekkies, pulling references both obvious and deep cuts, while also having its own narrative that kept us coming back for more and endeared us to these characters. I think it rings true that even on this podcast, the hosts are animated in the Lower Decks style. Points for that. I think we all can agree that Lower Decks could have gone on for several more seasons. They both obviously have the ability to create something with longevity. After Lower Decks ended, there was talks about Tawny writing her own live-action comedy show that is still in pre-production, according to IMDb. We may not have any updates, but if you are keeping up with Academy, you know that she is producer on 8 out of the 10 episodes. She co-wrote one of the best with Kristen, one of the best episodes in maybe all of Trek, at least in recent memory, episode 5, the Cisco Tribute, series acclamation meal. She managed not only to pay homage to him, bring Sir Rock Lofton back in a meaningful way, and connect a new character, Sam, into all of that history. She also acted in the episode as the latest host to Dax. She is clearly a prolific creator in the Trek realm and knows how to tug on our heartstrings and also make it accessible for new fans. I think having a duo is better than leaving the franchise in the hands of just one person at the top. I think having someone to bounce off and be a checks and balances will allow for a variety of programming and more quality control from the top down. As far as awards and nominations, Tawny has received a Women's Image Network Award nom for Outstanding Actress in an animated program, and Critics' Choice Super Awards nom for Best Voice Actress in an Animated Series. Mike has 2 Emmys. And, oh, is that my time?
No, that's your 3 minutes. Continue.
Oh, okay. Mike McMahan has 2 Emmys for Rick and Morty. I don't really care for that show, but he has them. Narratively, the stories that they have been a part of or produced have been engaging and coming to satisfying conclusions. We need good endings. I think the breadth of work that they both have had, they both have, and their past working relationship makes them the perfect duo to unify the fandom as they can return us to the 25th century while also furthering stories in this new 32nd century. I have friends who've never watched Star Trek before or they were also reluctant to, but responded well to Academy and have watched it on their own. I think that illustrates Tawny's ability to facilitate an environment that is accessible to new viewers. And that is all I gotta say.
Amazing. We will start with Mike Jones.
Anna, thinking of the episodes that well, Tawny hasn't. I mean, okay, how do I start this? Of the episodes that Tawny has written, taking the Lower Decks out of it, what would you say, or written or produced? What would you say is your favorite?
Like I was mentioned earlier, the 5th episode that was golden. That was from top to bottom. Everybody has an opinion, but I think pretty much unanimously, as far as I could tell, people who are not on the hate train for this show really enjoyed that episode. It did a lot in an hour, Yeah. So I would have to say, and again, that was another duo. So I think that duos are the way. I really do. I think 2 brains are better than 1. And even Tawny said, I know I'm advocating now for Kristen, but I'm just going to be like, hey, even Tawny praised Kristen in the process for helping this episode come together. And so not only did she help produce it, write it, but she also starred and acted in it. And I didn't see that twist coming. I don't know if y'all did, but I did not. So I just think that is a gem top to bottom.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. We will go to Jodi.
So I'm a fan of Mike McMahan's. He also did the show Solar Opposites. Are you familiar with this? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, The Wall.
Crazy. Yeah. Yes. The Wall. The crazy aliens. I loved it. I didn't think I would, but I did. But with Tawny and Mike McMahan moving this, the franchise forward, will everything be animated? And or a sketch comedy?
I think we have already seen that they can do both. With Academy, we already see that Tawny being a co-producer on 8 out of the 10 episodes, that she can be in a position of authority and making this engine run for a live action series with a mix of different vibes per episode, lightheartedness, very serious, poignant episode dealing with Klingon refugees and things of that nature, an episode that harkens back to the past of Trek. And with Mike McMahan, we will probably get some more comedy, but I think Mike McMahan has such a love of 90s Trek that we might get the shows that a lot of fans are clamoring for in live action. We might get a return to seeing that carpet. We might get a return to seeing those beige walls. So I think they are the way to go.
It's your only question? Okay. All right.
I'm going to be okay with that.
Okay. Listen, you can ask more than one. It is allowed. Damizon?
Yes. I just want to point out that while the rest of us are advocating for individuals, Anna Rozay somehow has an entire writing staff. But that being that,
would you like to excuse me? Would you like to waste your time complaining about someone else thinking outside the box?
Yeah, Your Honor, I thought we were asking questions.
I mean, I did too, but apparently
I would like to
personal attack.
I would like to ask, can you tell me, I'm also a big Mike McMahan fan, but I have a question about range.
Mhm.
I is there a moment that you felt like he created in Lower Decks where you felt like we got any kind of genuine like character pathos, any kind
Yes.
of inner turmoil, any kind of real drama?
Yes. So a lot of the times over the seasons in Lower Decks, Mariner kind of resets. But I feel like the moment where she kind of reaches that cathartic point where she can actually make a change in her own persona is the episode where she's trapped on the planet with the Klingon and it's raining glass. And she's just down on herself because she's like, I didn't sign up for sending people to war, people dying. I wanted to like go to Starfleet and learn about space and anomalies and have, be with my friends. And she's lamenting about the Bajoran cadet from the
Zito.
TNG episode Lower Decks, how she died and blah blah blah. So that illustrates, and there's so many other moments in Lower Decks where the characters have genuine, real moments, and it's not a joke or undercut by a joke. So I definitely think that that is within him to like get that across.
I would ask the same question about Tawny.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was just pointing back to series acclamation Bill. That whole episode had me crying, devastated, gabba blasted, bamboozled, but in the good way.
And with that, your time is up.
I will refrain from my questions until the end with this one as well. And now we are here with our fourth advocate, Mr. Mike Jones.
I would like to start out by saying that there's one person that connects many of the things that our other advocates have discussed. I heard things like episodes like 17 Seconds, directed by Jonathan Frakes. I heard about, Tawny Newsome worked closely with Jonathan Frakes on multiple episodes, including Those Old Scientists. So I think that Jonathan can be the glue that brings our franchise together. First of all, as a director, he's not a writer. Everyone else that we were talking about are writers. I think it'd be interesting to put a director in the pilot seat of the franchise. He directed what is arguably the best Star Trek film, Star Trek First Contact, the best highest grossing film of the TNG era of films. And he's directed more episodes of Star Trek than any other single director in the modern era. His history with the franchise as an actor, he has been in every version of the show, except for Prodigy and TOS when he was, a child. Should have been in Prodigy. But, if we'd gotten another season, I bet he would have been there. And, when you hear the actors and other artists and designers and creators talk about their favorite person to work with and the energy he brings into the room, it inevitably the conversation turns to Jonathan Frakes. My final thing is Riker maneuver. I mean, there's nothing more cool. He came up with that. And I yield my time.
2 minutes. Wow. You sure? That's all you wanted to say? Okay. All right. We will allow Damizon to begin the questioning.
My question is in choosing a director instead of a writer, I mean, typically these jobs do go to writers. How does that work in terms of where do the ideas come from? Where do the stories come from?
He knows everybody. If you've been watching his podcast with Brent Spiner, Dropping Names.
Names,
yeah, right.
Yes.
He literally knows everybody in Hollywood. So you wouldn't get the perspective of one writer melding. He would be collaborating with the best writers in Hollywood who could say yes to working on a show, even though they can't dedicate being a full-time showrunner on it. I think he would collaborate.
So what you're saying is that he would be curator of other people's ideas as opposed to generating his own.
Yeah, I think so. And in modern television, that I think is, well, I mean, it's kind of like Dick Wolf. He doesn't write Law and Order, but Law and Order has been successful under his tutelage, or not tutelage, under his reign for decades now. Boom, boom, Dick Wolf.
Boom, boom. Have we seen any evidence of Frakes having that skill, that curation skill?
Yeah, I think when he was executive producing Roswell and other television shows, yes, I think that he worked with a lot of creative writers in that respect. That was a while back, but
I yield my time.
Okay, Anna Rozay.
I'm gonna kind of flip the script on you, Mike. What is your favorite thing that he has directed?
Well, the easy answer would be First Contact. But if I just look at the episodes he's directed, I really like The Chase, the TNG episode. It's so different from everything else in that season, and inspired, more plot lines later on. So I would have to go with The Chase. It's my favorite of the shows he directed.
You're going to be held in contempt of court. You're going to be held in contempt. What is The Chase?
You're right. I did not explain it. Okay.
Don't even worry about it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Someone is following along.
Okay, so The Chase is the episode of TNG where they find these, artifacts, and they all come together and they work with the Romulans are chasing and the Klingons, and they come together and they find this thing, and it's this hologram of a woman who is one of the progenitors, and she talks about how her people peopled the galaxy by spreading DNA everywhere. And then that comes back in Star Trek Discovery's fifth season. Good Lord.
When they go to the place with the places and they fall through the things, and she's in the middle, and
they fall through the things.
Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it already. And that is how I remember things.
Exactly.
Okay, so this was an episode about people spreading seed all over the universe. Okay, good to know.
Actually,
I mean, don't threaten
Mike
me
Jones's
with a good time.
favorite.
Okay, that says a lot. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be disparaging our advocates. Anna, is there anything else, or is that?
I think that was it.
Okay, great.
I can't hate on the Frakes.
I mean, can we really hate on anyone? Yes.
No, they're all great, actually.
No, exactly. We said there's no hating. No hating. Jodi.
So Frakes has been very active as an actor and as a director, but there's this side of running the franchise where you have to deal with the studio and the studio execs. And I'm wondering if at this stage in Frakes' career and life, does he have the patience to deal with them? Like to nuance these folks, to get another First Contact made, in the theaters, like that type of level of feature film, or to push the franchise forward enough to. Here's the thing. I feel like Riker just wouldn't do the Riker maneuver. He'd pick up the chair and throw it at them. That's what I think would happen. And so I'm wondering what you think.
Yeah, I would say this. You have to remember, this is the guy who, as an actor, in the first and second season of TNG, went to the producers and said, I want to learn how to direct. And he advocated for himself, and he bugged them until finally they were like, okay, fine, you can come and sit in the editing suite while we edit and learn. And he weaseled his way in and knew how to manipulate them and work the room. And now he's one of the most successful television directors in Hollywood.
Fair enough. I accept that. Do you think he will put Brett Spiner in more data or data lineage roles as we go forward?
I hope so.
Yeah, right? Need more of them.
Long lost cousin.
Okay. I do have a question for you, Mr. Jones. I understand that everything you said about him having sort of the longest tenure, we'll say, with the series than the other folks here. However, him being a director and not actually having any writing chops, being a curator of ideas, there's been a lot of talk about being able to merge franchise with the future. How do you see him being able to create a writer's room that respects that franchise along with pushing us into the future? Because knowing everyone in Hollywood doesn't necessarily mean you know the right people in Hollywood to do the thing that we're needing to be done.
I mean, I would say that he he does know the right people. I mean, his work on the Orville, his work on he's directed in Resident Alien. There are current sci-fi shows. I mean, the Orville is of course on hiatus, and God knows when it's coming back, but hopefully soon because I love it. But I think his current work with in other franchises in science fiction shows that he does work with and collaborate. He's in the active Rolodex of all of those people, so they are in his Rolodex. If anyone uses Rolodexes anymore,
they do. We all do. Do those people who are in his Rolodex have the type of historical knowledge of Trek to be able to respect the canon as well as pushing it forward?
Absolutely.
Jodi, question.
Yes.
Being that Kirsten is an author and a writer, a novelist, that's a solo task. It's not really collaborative. So, do you see her being able to collaborate with other writers? Because at the end of the day, it can't just be one person writing all the things, it has to be a room of people writing. Is she going to be able to hear what other folks who may be hired are their opinions and take that in, or is she going to, my way, highway, write what I say?
No, I think I hear what you're saying, and Kirsten Beyer has a long history of collaboration. She's like even as recently as Starfleet Academy, she partnered with Tawny to write series Acclamation Mill, and I think she co-wrote like 2 or 3 other episodes this season. But in addition to that, beyond just her co-writing of episodes, if you talk to any of the current like names that are writing our modern novelizations or that are doing the audio dramas, they all speak very highly of her. And even Tawny on a recent live spoke about working with Kirsten and said that she has an encyclopedic knowledge of Trek. Well, I think we need that. We need someone who owns that and can deliver that and help guide people, because authors like Una McCormack and David Mack and a lot of the others that are currently writing the novelizations of these tie-ins, they all rely on Kirsten's guidance in the way their stories get written, and they all each still maintain their own unique voice.
Thank you. Damizon.
Yes.
Would Terry Matalas be more of the same since Alan Kurtzman is currently in the role?
I don't think that it's more of the same. I think that he is I think that he would give us something, yes, grounded in what we know, grounded in characters that we are familiar with, and that really he'll give us what no one seems to want to give us, which is the 25th century, which is the those of us who are of a certain age.
What age is that?
Very old.
Very old. Grew up. Those of us who were watching TV in the 90s.
Okay.
Sorry, Austin. Those of us who were watching TV in the 90s who want to see the world of Star Trek that we know. Yes. Moving forward from the universe that we know is not necessarily more of the same. And I don't think that just because the Star Trek that he happened to be closely associated with, that just because he has created Star Trek for that era, doesn't necessarily mean that he's unable to work in other parts of the timeline. I think that's like a limited way of thinking. But I think that
Are you saying that my thinking is limited?
Absolutely not. I would never presume to know what's going on in your head, Your Honor.
Very good. Continue.
But I feel that he would that it is that so much of New Trek, as exciting as it is almost afraid to jump in where we left off, to pick up the universe from the point at which we last knew it, right? Without jumping.
And what point is that?
That point would be where Lower Decks picked up. In the really Lower Decks picked up in the late 24th century, and then Picard took us into the 25th century. So that is, I think a lot of us view that as the present in the Star Trek timeline. And I think everybody has been kind of afraid to go there because they feel like they can't show us new stories in the Star Trek universe where we left off. And I think he showed us that the galaxy is huge, and that the world of Star Trek has a wealth of new characters available that you can create in the timeline where we know it.
Okay. I will open the floor for debate between the advocates. If there are any questions or points that you would like to raise to bolster your argument, the time is now. Yes, Anna Rozay with the hand.
Thank you, Judge. The point that Damien was making, I think the reason why the franchise has not really lived in that era is because of budget. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know, but I'm just spinning my wheels. A lot of the actors that populate that era have been with the franchise for quite some time, have been through their own series for 7 or so years, came back for Picard or whatever, and now are at probably a pay rate that is astronomical. And you get maybe 3 or 4 of those together, and there's no room to do any ships. There's no room to do any stories. So I feel, unfortunately, and I'm not saying that that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying I think that's why. Because I would love to be back in that era as well. But I do see that as a weakness on the part of Mr. Matalas, that he exists here, like Cisco. He exists in the 24th century, and he can't really exist anywhere where his toys don't also exist with him. I think that is also why we have not seen a legacy come about. Jerry Ryan had famously said that she was offered a legacy-like show, but it was not quite right. And we don't know exactly why it was not quite right.
Yeah, don't we want to know what that is?
Yeah, so I'm just curious to see, do you think if the 24th, 25th century are off the table, what do you see him doing?
I don't think that he needs to be treading on the ground of familiar characters necessarily. Yes, but make no mistake, I am a proponent of Star Trek Legacy. I would like to see Captain Seven. I would like to see Rafi. That's a show I want to see. but I don't think I don't see evidence in what we've seen from him that is necessarily the only trick in his box of tricks. And I don't think necessarily that he has to be tied to the reinvention of familiar characters. I think that there was enough new. I think that there was enough, I don't think that this choice necessarily is advocating for Star Trek Picard season 4. I think, yes, I would advocate for Star Trek Legacy. I would for sure, but I don't think that should be starring Patrick Stewart and all of them. I think part of what he brought us to was that these new characters, granted, I don't think that Raffi was necessarily his invention, but putting Raffi with Worf was a stroke of genius because it illuminated both characters in a way that we hadn't seen before. We hadn't seen that particular variation on this sort of like sensei kind of relationship there, so I think that I think that the sort of new and evolving ways that he was able to involve some of these new characters with because granted, this was his, just because this was the trick that this pony did in that season does not mean that that's what that season was about. I don't think that necessarily indicates that because he did that's all he can do.
So you think he could play in the 32nd century sandbox or create a new era of his own?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I think that now with the way that the timeline has been built, I think that whoever steps in has to be able that we can't have all of these separate Star Trek series living in exact continuity with each other. I don't think that necessarily like the 90s model where, the Enterprise pulls up at Deep Space Nine and we have a Dr. Bashir episode. I don't think that kind of universe is necessarily works with a current audience in the same way. I don't think that I don't see him trying to do that.
Okay. Any other questions for any other advocates from any other advocates?
Are we allowed to just make a general statement?
Yeah. Absolutely. Please. Yeah. Who are you to say yes? I say yes and no. Advocate Damien. Yes, Jodi, please.
Your Honor, I will get the trouble. Right. I will get the cuffs if need be.
I know. Please make sure they are the spiky ones, not the furry ones.
Oh, right. Damien, you may not bring your
I'll have you know I like those spiky.
I'm aware.
They go on your wrists.
Point of clarity. I understand. Yes, good.
Yeah. Continue, Jodi.
Okay. I would just like to point out that of all the people being presented here as potential bearers of the torch of Trek moving forward, Kirsten Beyer has worked and or collaborated with all of them. End of statement.
Oh, so she's the common denominator is what you're saying.
As has Jonathan Frakes.
I was making a statement, that's all.
Okay.
She's not the only one in that club.
Okay. Well, before I rule, is there any final I will allow a final statement from each of the advocates, your final hurrah and why you believe that your choice is the choice to take over, or rather take the torch, hold the mantle for this next generation of Star Trek. Let's see who went first. It was Jodi. So we will start from the bottom and go to the top. Mike Jones, you are first.
Mike Jones is at the bottom.
We'll start from the bottom.
Number 4.
I resemble that remark.
And number 4, you are now number 1. Continue.
My closing statement is just that another one of the advocates literally talked about the twinkle in his eye, and I'm saying Jonathan Frakes is amazing, and he deserves this. That's my closing statement.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anna Rozay?
I think you just have to look at the track record of who I am advocating for. One successfully continued, not just one season, but a whole show from start to finish. It had a beginning, middle, and end. And the other also starred in the show, is potentially having their own show, has produced 8 episodes of another show, is a prolific Star Trek writer and actor. So how can we go wrong?
Thank you. Thank you. Damizon?
Yeah, I just want to, for my closing statement, I want to take us back to the dinner table in an early episode of season 3 of Star Trek Picard, in the quarters of the captain, Liam Shaw, who, with a fair amount of humor, managed to, in one scene, dress down 2 of our biggest heroes of Star Trek ever and make us wonder, is it possible that they really just were fuck-ups all along? I think that kind of perception shift and that kind of combination of the new and the old is what we need to move us forward. We cannot abandon that which came before us, but sometimes we can rethink it.
Okay. And finally, Jodi.
I will say that with Kirsten Beyer, it's not just experience, it's franchise fluency. And that she has the kind of Trek resume that will make you sit up a little bit straighter in the captain's chair. Done.
Thank you.
Is that an attack
Thank
on
you very
Hollywood?
much.
Ah!
Love the way she sits in that chair.
Don't come to my girl.
Exactly. So
Never.
Bailiff, this is out of the ordinary. However, I can do what I want. Would you like to add anything to this discussion?
Yeah, I've been holding on to a question for pretty much this entire time.
Okay.
I wrote it down, so I'll read it out here. What the hell is 12 monkeys?
Would any of the advocates like to
Damien.
answer this question?
Yes, 12 Monkeys is what was a movie in the 90s, starring Bruce Willis, a sort of mind-bending time
Bruce
travel.
Willis. Was it Bruce Willis or was it?
No, was it
Was
Bruce
it
Willis?
Bruce Willis? Keep talking.
Yeah,
Time
Go ahead.
please fact check. Somebody, I just dropped that like it was a fact, and now I don't even know.
Mhm.
But it was it's a movie that you should watch. Everyone, if you haven't seen 12 Monkeys,
It
it's
does
one
star
of the
Bruce
few
Willis. Very good.
it's one of the few movies that I watched all the way through, and then once I got to the end, I rewound it and I watched the entire thing.
It's because I can only remember Brad Pitt. Continue.
Yes, Brad Pitt was also
That's
very-
where my brain. That's where
Brad
my
Pitt,
brain
I think, was
went.
nominated for an Oscar for it. Regardless,
Correct.
it was a for the Sci-Fi Network. Terry Matalas did a TV sort of reboot of it, reimagining of it, which I'll confess that I have not watched the entire series, but it is a lot of well-known Canadian actors, I believe, and some American actors as well. And it was the first season got sort of mixed reviews. I believe it was 4 seasons and sort of Anna Rozay wants to talk. It was 4 seasons. Did you watch it?
No. I'm thinking about the mixed reviews. Sounds
Mixed
familiar.
reviews for the first season that it was on the Metacritic. It got like 60% in the first season and then 100% for season 2, 3, and 4. It was so the second, third, and fourth seasons were very highly regarded. First season is like a little bit more mixed. But it was a generally well-reviewed, successful show on the Sci-Fi Network, and that was like I think it stuck to the movie a little bit in the first season and then went its own way. And largely got credited with landing the ship well at the end of the fourth season.
Bailiff Cherub, anything else?
That's everything I needed to know. Thank you.
Amazing. The fact that you held on to that question for the entirety of this debate.
I did write it down.
Fantastic.
You wrote it
Fantastic.
down.
And I have my
Fantastic.
notes. I have my notes.
Fantastic.
Movie, Bruce Willis.
Amazing.
Time travel? Question mark.
It's interesting because the last time I watched that movie was easily 20 years ago. So I don't know that it holds up, but I would encourage you to watch it and let me know.
All right. Well, there's your homework. Watch 12 Monkeys. So the time has come. I thank all of you advocates for your impassioned presentations, for your thoughtful questions of each other, for your lackluster debate. I thought there'd be a little more, but I'm taking what you're giving.
It's a love fest.
You're being respectful.
Yeah, we can be
trying to be nice.
Prickly, respectful. Old Barb here and there. Q loves it. I will say, off rip, that unfortunately, although this person gave us a beloved character, has done a lot for the franchise, both on the screen and behind the camera, I don't really believe that not having a true, steadfast showrunner will create the continuity that Star Trek needs to continue to hold on to the viewers and fans that it has, as well as gather new viewers and bring them to the franchise. And for that reason, Mr. Jonathan Frakes is going to be out. I thank you, Mike Jones, for your time, but he is not going to get this mantle today.
Eliminated.
Eliminated. Frozen.
Yes. The third runner-up to the top spot on the podium is a person who I understand has had success. They have worked in film and screen. They have shown that, yes, they have character development. They are able to meld worlds together. However, I do believe that it would possibly be a little more of the same, and maybe we need to make some changes so that we can, as we say, bridge the gap and get the new folks and the old folks to come together and stay within the franchise. And for that reason, Damizon, Mr. Terry Matalas is not going to get the mantle. But thank you very much for.
Thank you for your consideration, Your Honor.
Yep, there was consideration, slight, but
Eliminated.
Eliminated.
Right.
And so that leaves us with a duo, proven. It leaves us with a solo act who has proven themselves as an author of many different genres, both on screen and in print. This duo has showcased a new type of Trek, and I think was very successful from the beginning until the end. That was a point that was very well made and landed very well. Additionally, that one half of that team, probably with a little back and forth with the co-writer, created, I will agree, is one of the best episodes of New Trek that there has been. I am notoriously a emotional crier when it comes to television. I enjoy giving myself over to a story, and it was unexpected in the ways that my heart cracked open riding home on mass transit watching the tribute to Cisco. It was something that I wasn't expecting, something that I enjoyed, and something that I appreciated. I will say about the other contender brought to us today, seemingly having the encyclopedia knowledge of Trek would make them sort of a perfect pick. I not knowing as much about this person makes me just slightly less excited to choose them. You presented a fantastic case, and I really would love to give it to them. But alas, on today, in the year of our Lord of 2026, I, the Right Honorable Supreme Q, do claim that the mantle of the Star Trek franchise must go to the duo.
Yes, Lord.
Presented by Anna Rozay.
Yes. You made the right choice, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
I just, in my heart of hearts, it has been proven that respect of the past and the vision of the future came together both in animation and in live action, both on the screen and behind the camera and on the page.
Judge,
so I would like to
taste.
I know, thank you. That's why I'm here in this seat. I would like to thank you, Jodi. Truly, I am going to now go read some of these books because I did not know they existed. So I thank you for giving me this information so that I can expand my Star Trek knowledge. But today is the day that the winner of our debate club franchise getting Anna Rozay.
Yes, me.
And if I could give you something, I would, but I don't got nothing to give you. We'll send it to you in the mail.
It's okay. I have won the judicial honor that you have bestowed upon me, and that is enough.
This was the greatest thing ever. I enjoyed this to no end. Aside from being the judge, like no, but truly, like y'all came. To all the folks out there, we had this idea and didn't know if it was gonna happen. You all dug deep, and I really I feel more enriched and more knowledgeable about the franchise, about the people who helped to make it, who have been a part of it, and who honestly at any point in time are going to continue to be a part of it. And that's why Trek is so great, because we do have people who have the past, have that historical context, and also these new ideas of what it could be. And Damizon, you kind of helped Anna win because you said that starting where Lower Decks was sort of your whole
really? I made that.
Nice. You sort of helped. You sort of helped in putting them.
And that's really the trouble of all of this, because it's like this was I had trouble.
Then look at your shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
Well, as soon as you made that point, I was like, oh, that is a deep slice. Why would you do that to us?
And it was a fair point.
I'm observant. If I'm not anything, I am observant.
But it's funny because I had a hard time, because I felt like, oh, I would choose Ron Moore. And then I thought it through, and then I was like, well, he's really his take is now in my experience of his work, it's a little dark.
It's a little serious.
Yeah, it's very, very serious. And I think that the comedy is such an important aspect. I mean, I'm a huge, granted, this was now coming up on 15 years ago, coming up on 20 years ago, Battlestar Galactica.
Right.
That was a real, in 2005, 6, 7, I was like ready to throw everything away just to sit and watch that always. Yeah. But then in emailing Jodi about this, I was like, all right, so if you were to do this, like, who would you? And then she said Kirsten Beyer, and I was like, Because I was like,
to be honest, I thought Jodi might take it. To be honest,
same.
Thinking of all the options, I was like, she's the only one.
Because
very close. I mean, it's slim margins. Like I'm splitting hairs, as you call it. Like it just
all
it's
honesty,
splitting hairs.
I was first asked about doing this, and my instinct was to put Kirsten and Tawny together because of that fact. And this was before I even knew that they were officially that they wrote
collaborating
series acclamation. That was so. I knew they were working together. I didn't know it was on that, and that was amazing. But yeah, I do think that Tawny, she has to be a part of Star Trek's future in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
She just has to be, because she has a passion for it as a fan.
Mhm.
And has seen it from the inside as a voice actor and as a live action actor. And I just think she has a skill and she has a talent for writing that I don't think she's explored enough. And I hope we see more of it.
I very much
from it.
I agree with you, Jodi, because I pulled up my, as we want to do, I pulled up my memory alpha real quick as you were talking, right? And I wasn't going to offer this, because I had another horse in the race.
You did.
Kirsten Beyer wrote, and this is just like a sampling, Unification 3, I said earlier, which is, basically where we catch up with how the Romulans and Vulcans reunite to create Navarre, which is kind of what we're talking about, which is like taking canon and moving it forward, like
making it new,
creating something new out of
the old.
Yeah. Picard, she wrote Remembrance, or has a writing credit on Remembrance, which is the series premiere. Stardust City Rag, which is, I don't think, a necessarily great episode, but
I love that
Academy.
What's
fun, though. It's fun.
What's that one?
It's the one where we see Patrick Stewart do a terrible French accent.
Oh yeah, that part's terrible, but the rest
that
of
episode
it.
But she didn't necessarily
directed
write
by
that.
Jonathan
Right.
Frakes.
Yeah, it's a.
Oh. Wait, what did you say?
I said that episode directed by Jonathan Frakes.
It was not.
It was. It was Stardust City Rag, directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Do you see how my choices? You see how I know things? I may not know things, but I do know things.
You know things.
But she also has a writing credit. It looks like she co-wrote the last 2 episodes of Academy. Right? On top of series Acclamation Mill, which, by the way, is like, again, exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
The blending of the old and the new.
In the most respectful way that, like, I mean, here's the thing is that, honestly, even if you didn't necessarily have the history of Deep Space Nine for that episode, you didn't need it. They also did not spoon feed it to you as if you were dumb. They also gave you enough information so you could be in it no matter what, because you already had love for the main protagonist in that story. And that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't always have to be funny. And I think that with Star Trek, we do need to keep some levity to be able to deal with the serious matters, but the serious matters that we're talking about, exploring space, right? Like, it's serious that this alien wants to come and take over the ship and take all your business, but we need somebody to be like, well, that was, they slip and fall. It's got to be something. You got to have a little bit of humor with all the seriousness. But no, y'all were great. This was great.
You were great.
I'm also a little pissed at Anna Rozay because here's my question that I asked you. About Lower Decks and Pathos, and you gave me exactly the answer that was already in my head. So
I can read your mind, baby.
About the scene where it's raining glass, and that Mariner has like a full like character breakdown.
Yep.
Here's the thing: is that you all did it. Like, each question that each of you asked of each other helped to get to the right answer, because yes, you look at the comedy duo, where's the seriousness? That episode in Lower Decks breaks your heart because, like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? You look at the seriousness of Cadet School. Here we are in this, it's sort of absurd and funny and they're kids, but then you have this super serious episode that isn't about fighting, but it's about like soul searching. So they just And truly, the gold and the silver, I feel like if that trio,
that would be cooking with gas, honey.
I just really think that there needs to be something new. Like, it's been run by men. No shade to the men of it all, but it's been run by men for so long, and we know those stories. Let's look at a different perspective of a different lived experience and relationship to Trek that each of these folks have, and the way in which it will move the needle forward, also respecting the past. So if Mike Jones unfreezes, because he's frozen on my screen, because
it's frozen.
I think he was hurt that he was left out of that trio that you just mentioned. You said that trio, and there was a fourth person who froze on the spot.
Correct. I love that he's cheesing in this photo, and it's not going to come up on the screen. I would like to thank everyone, because Mike Jones usually does the closing, but here I am as he's a cheesy little square on my screen. Damizon is now the host. He's gone again. He'll pop back in. It's fine. He's gotten whisked away by a transporter accident. Hopefully, he's in the pattern buffer, and he'll be back.
Oh yes.
And here he is. I, as the Right Honorable Supreme Q, would like to thank all of our advocates for joining us this evening for this rousing presentation and debate. I would like to thank our bailiff, Cherub, for joining with the fresh cut, looking more Justin Bieber of the early aughts. Thank you so much. And Mike Jones.
There's a picture just like that in my fridge, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Obsessed.
I know. I have a picture of Austin in my fridge. I don't. It came in the mail. I don't know. It's weird. I can't explain.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Jones, tell them all the things, and then you can do the thing that you do.
Yeah. Give us a like. Give us a subscription. Follow us. All the things. Where you can find us at Hailing Freak Open on the socials. And tell us who you think should run the Star Trek franchise moving forward. And do you want Alex Kurtzman to get a renewed contract and keep going for another 10 years?
Yeah, by the way, none of this is to say that we're haters on Alex Kurtzman. If he gets renewed, I think, I'm here for it.
We started with that. We started with we're good. We are fans and good with where we are, but we could always do more.
It's fun to imagine. And with that, I again thank everyone, and I will say Hailing Frequencies closed.
No goodbyes. Just good memories. Hailing Frequencies closed, sir.